the Sane Progressive, Debbie Lusignan. She put a video up, and I believe it was on YouTube. I saw it on YouTube. It was maybe 4 or 5 days ago or so. And at the very end of the video, she went into a tirade about MMT, which is modern monetary theory. Now, it was kind of surprising that she would do this. It seemed like she was reading comments in the feed, and I don't know what comment came up, but obviously somebody said something about MMT. And like I said, she just flew off into a tirade. So before we actually go into it, let's show you some clips of that video.
Oh, good Lord. And you know what? I'm sorry, but there is an MMT cult developing. Okay? An MMT cult. Talking about that if we just utilized a certain school of economic theory, then we could take it all back if we applied that theory. Will you guys stop it? What part of this system is usurped and controlled by a mob at the top? Don't you get? You're not going to get any theory of anything being plugged in to change anything when it is when you basically have an economy based on a mob Ponzi scheme. Stop it with MMT. Stop it with all of that shit. I don't know who. It's like you don't have any mechanism so that you can employ policies that are going to be beneficial for humanity because the system is usurped. And you know what we need? We need a cooperative model where people are developing developing and controlling their own wealth that we are creating. So I don't want to get off my thread with the MMT. I'm so friggin' sick of it. It's not even about understanding economics. It's not even understanding which policy would be better. We have a mob system. There is no passing any policies at this point because the entire thing is controlled in ways so none of this gets through. And we're going to argue policies instead of addressing how that dynamic is playing out to serve and destroy all of humanity. I don't even get it.
Before we get into dissecting what she was talking about, let's give some background information, okay? Now, we're not economists. We're not going to go into great depth about modern monetary theory. But this was kind of an assault on real progressives and Steve Gurmbine because they're the ones that have been really pushing modern monetary theory. And basically what it is, it's an effort to dispel the myth that federal taxes fund spending, okay? We are a sovereign nation. We have sovereign money. We control what we spend. It's not tied to anything. The gold standard has long since been disbanded. Okay, we don't rely on that gold theory anymore. It's gone. It's just money. It's just numbers, digits. It's just some keystrokes, right? So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to educate the populace about spending money. And that the things that we actually want in this world, in this life, like free tuition at public colleges and universities and universal health care and an increase in the minimum wage, just things like that, that can all be done tomorrow. The thing is that we have to, Congress has to do it. So like I said, we don't have to get into a lot of detail about it. I don't know enough about it. I had a conversation with Steve before about it when we were up in DC months ago, early in January, and we talked back and forth about it. And it's not like some kind of conspiracy theory drivel that does not make sense. No, I mean, yeah, the term MMT, yeah, it's got the theory in it, but no, it makes sense. So, you know, if you want some more information about it, check out Steve Gurmbine. Go to Real Progressives. They cover this thing to death, and you'll come away educated about this. And maybe one day soon, too, we can get Steve on the program to educate our viewers, and so we can educate some more people about this, right?
Well, okay. You're talking about Steve being on this program.
Yeah.
But
Where you going? Where you going?
I'm going back to maybe 6 months ago. Maybe was it 6 months ago?
About 5 actually.
All right. Who did Steve have an interview with?
Yeah, he had an interview with Sane Progressive on her channel. I think it was a Facebook Live event, and she interviewed Steve Grumbine specifically about MMT. It was not about other things. No, Steve was offering an analysis of what MMT is, what it is not. It was about 45 minutes long. I saw the whole thing, and in it, the Sane Progressive, Debbie Lusignan, seemed very open, receptive. She sounded like it was reasonable to her, like she needed some more education about it, that she wasn't as advanced in the studies as Steve was, but that it made some sense. She even kind of like pushed back on some people that were in the stream trying to make noise about it. It's like, yo, if you got a question, ask your question. Steve will answer it. I can ask him whatever. Just don't try to, just be a troll over here. So it seems like she was very reasonable about it. But then fast forward to now, just a few days ago, like I said, she goes off on a tirade talking about it's like a cult.
Does she not? Okay, number one. Let's get this out of the way. She might want to look up the definition of cult, because cult kind of implies that, let's say, like people who follow something or someone or whatever, an idea, without critical thinking, without critical thought. That's kind of
like mindless drama.
Mindless. That's essentially what you're suggesting,
right?
So maybe like the language was a little bit hyperbolic.
It seems like it seems like she's saying that the support for MMT is so energetic that it equals
simply because
cult
there's some
mentality.
people who believe in it must be, but even if that's the case, like cult is like one of those words that has a negative connotation, even though the word is actually not negative. It's kind of like propaganda.
Yeah,
it just means to
but she meant it very negatively. Yes,
you know what I'm saying. So that's kind of one thing. One of the things I had a problem with. Another thing is, like, she's been doing this for quite a while. I've been watching her for quite a while. She kind of talks about corruption on a very broad scale, very global scale,
election fraud,
everything. She talks about basically globalism on a very broad scale, and she gives details and she looks into things. So my thing is, if this is a mob rule, mob system, it's a controlled system, you can't do anything. Like, wasn't it that way 5 months ago?
What changed?
Wasn't it still that 5 months ago?
There's nothing there was no significant event that happened in 5 months that would make you like Trump was already president. There's nothing that actually happened. So it is a question, like, why would you change so drastically your position? Like, if things couldn't get through Congress 5 months ago, there's nothing to suggest that it could get through now, or vice versa. There was no event. So, but let's talk about that. Let's talk about her claim, okay? The economy is run by a mob.
Right.
You can't get anything through, so she doesn't want to hear anything more about this MMT. You're being foolish by thinking that you can actually, I guess, influence Congress to do the right thing, even if MMT is real. You're being fools. You can't do anything.
But couldn't you apply that to everything? Every political agenda? Any political strategy?
Because
not just MMT as far as like economic theory? Like, can
anything.
you apply that attitude to everything? Why the hell? Like, what? But the show's over, dog. We ain't got nothing to talk about, dog.
But hold on. You actually do need Congress. You actually do need Congress. Now, we know that Congress isn't doing the right thing for its constituents, but I mean, I don't think it's a wasted effort to try to change that, because this is the country we all live in, and Congress is needed. So I like the one ironic. What's ironic about this is that For her, this sounds like a defeatist attitude. This sounds like, man, look, we're beat. You might as well give up. I don't know why you're still talking about politics if you have this view. If you have this view of like nothing can get done, like why are you still speaking peace?
Yeah,
like
no,
I mean, like why are you still talking?
Exactly. Like you like what's the purpose of any like I guess political commentary?
You're saying the
calling
game's
out
over.
calling out the system when there's essentially no way to change it.
Yes, you like that attitude is I'm done. I've given up. We can't fight it. But what's ironic is that just recently she made clear her support for Cynthia McKinney and Robert David Steele's effort for this whole hashtag UNRIG. She did that publicly. She did it on her channel. So let me be clear. Hashtag UNRIG. They want election reform, right? Now we disagree because, like I said, there's a lot more there's a lot more to it, and didn't
that have a lot to do with influencing Congress?
No. The whole thing is that they want to pass the Election Reform Act, so that would have to get passed by Congress, and they're trying to influence Congress too. Shut your mouth. They're trying to influence Congress. So they're like, yo, we need what he said. He said he needed 12 people in every congressional district to go
12
to
activists.
12 activists in every congressional district to go to their congressperson and say, here, I need you to sign this saying that when you get back to session that you will bring this up, you will present it, and you will vote for it. So isn't that kind of like petitioning Congress? Like, isn't that trying to influence Congress?
That's petitioning a system that is run by a mob. That's petitioning a system that's controlled, in my opinion.
So that would mean...
So she poo-pooing on somebody else's...
No, everything else.
Everything else.
Everything else.
But yet supports an effort to try to change that same system.
Right. And that is also, at the same time, shrouded in anti-Semitism.
See, that strikes me as very narcissistic, and the reason why I say narcissistic is because, like, it's almost like she's going to place a heavy amount of value on that strategy, the UNRIG strategy, but like essentially downgrade everyone else's efforts, which she has been doing.
Like I said, publicly on her channel, she professed that Cynthia McKinney is a real leader, and let's hear what she has to say. Okay, now like I said, we know McKinney and RDS are together on this UNRIG thing, and it's bullshit. Check it out. Check what we've said about it. It's bullshit. So how could you say, like, okay, you have my support for this thing that has to go through Congress, but this MMT garbage, no, you can't get through Congress.
That strikes me as that strikes me as very suspicious.
So why did she say? That's the whole question.
Because my thing is, we all know she likes to dig into things and get the details.
That's why she had Steve on the program,
most
right?
of her
5 months ago.
Most of her commentary is like, when you watch a video, it's 20 minutes long. She hardly does a video that's less than 10 minutes long. She hardly does, unless it's like a live, but she actually does most of her videos live.
She goes in depth.
So she goes in depth about everything. So I'm just trying to figure out how did that aspect of her just all of a sudden shut down when it comes to, like, when it came to UNRIG. And not only that, the kind of double standard that is being kind of displayed by her now.
It's an absolute double standard.